It's hard to believe it's almost been 8 years since we moved into this house. Those were some pretty exciting times for the Sharp family. We moved in this community to help plant Rivers Crossing Community Church. My wife Sarah was pregnant with our second child, Ellie, and it also meant we were getting a new 8 to 15. You know, those 8 to 15 people that God's placed in our lives to influence for Christ, to share His love with. One of those 8 to 15 was Randy. He was my neighbor, my new neighbor, and I remember it was hard to get to know Randy because we were busy. I was busy trying to plant the church, he had a demanding job, and we really would only see each other on the weekends, maybe every other weekend doing yard work together. And in those moments, everything in me wanted to invite Randy to church and tell him about Jesus, but I remember God being clear, be patient. And so we just had some casual conversations about things we had in common. And then a few months in, getting to know each other, we were doing a project together, and Randy just looked at me and he said, "Jeff, can I open up to you? Can I tell you something?" And he just kind of spilled his guts to me. And that was that moment that God had me waiting for, where I had an opportunity to tell him a little bit about Jesus and invite him to church. And I remember when I invited Randy to church, the first thing he said to me was, "Why would you want someone like me at your church?" And I looked at him, I said, "Randy, this is why we started this church. You need to be there. This is the church for you."
As I'm sitting here in Kings High School auditorium, I'm reminded of the days I started walking in here, my first journey into Rivers Crossing. And I walked through the doors, a unbeliever, someone who thought they were in charge. I thought Randy was the guy in charge. And I also happened to be a raging cocaine addict. I kept coming back, and very soon it was almost, I could not stop crying when I walked through the doors. It felt like Pastor Paul was talking directly to me. What I came to learn is that was the Holy Spirit convicting me. And from that moment on, I began pursuing knowledge. I wanted to know more about him. I wanted to know what he was about. I wanted to know what this church was about. And I started going to Bible studies and reading the Bible. I volunteered at the church, and all the while still remaining a raging cocaine addict. I think I was still working under my power. I was going to get myself clean for Jesus, and that did not work very well. Although I was doing a lot of good activities, I was going to Celebrate Recovery and doing a lot of things positive, I was still doing it under my will. And I would basically ran myself ragged to the point of extreme exhaustion and weariness. It really got to a point I could not go on. I thought possibly I was going to die. I crawled up into a fetal position in my car after a Bible study and cried out to God. I said, "Hey, I give up. Can I be your cocaine addict?" And He accepted and healed me instantly. I've never gone back or had a craving to go back. I've been living a life of freedom for Him and following Him and doing what He tells me to do.
As I look back on Randy's story, it's amazing to me how just one simple invitation to church has led to this transformation in his life. There have been few things that have been more rewarding to me than see the gospel impact not just Randy's life, but his entire family. I look at Randy now, and he's not just someone who made a decision to follow Jesus. He's become a fully engaged follower of Christ. Randy leads our Celebrate Recovery ministry. He's been through discipleship school. He helped me plant Village Community Church, and he's about to start the pre-eldership process at Rivers Crossing. What a great reminder to me every time I think about it, that the gospel has power, the gospel changes lives, and God invites us to be a part of that process.